Thank you very much, House Chairperson. House Chairperson, the Democratic Alliance will not be supporting the motion on the order paper as it appears today, because what this motion is today is the greatest hoax perpetuated on the people of South Africa. Let's be very, very clear. South Africa suffers desperately from a history of systemic exclusion of black people from land ownership in South Africa through a variety of discriminatory laws. And that is the truth. And you can trace it back with legislative dispossession of property and ownership in South Africa. What this has done is it's left many, many black South Africans particularly without security of tenure, without ownership of land. And we fully support efforts to ensure that we have redress and redistribution of land in South Africa. We have to put land in the hands of more previously disadvantaged South Africans. But the problem with this motion is twofold. First of all, it's premised on a constitutional review committee which itself is legally, procedurally, and constitutionally flawed. You cannot have a consultation process that culminates in a report that ignores over 600,000 written submissions because they weren't to the liking of what you wanted to achieve. That is not consultation. That is not consultation. That is a farce. It says we had a predetermined outcome, we asked people to give their opinions, and then we disregarded them anyway. It completely ignored the overwhelming amount of oral submissions held by the committee here in Parliament, where by far the majority showed very clearly that they were against the amendment to the Constitution. It ignores the fact that people like Judge L.B. Sachs have said, and I quote, "Far from being a barrier to radical land redistribution, the Constitution in fact requires and facilitates extensive and progressive programs of land reform. It provides for constitutional and judicial control to ensure equitable access and prevent abuse." And as I said the other day, this plaster that you're trying to use to fix this problem is a smokescreen to the government failure of the last 2 decades. It doesn't address the root causes of why land reform and land restitution in South Africa is not working and why it has not moved at a pace to ensure that we have land in the hands of more previously disadvantaged South Africans. It will also have serious unintended consequences for our economy. Most agricultural land is bonded and will have impacts on the financial services in South Africa. There's also no such thing, including VBS Bank, it'll have an impact on them as well. There's no such thing.
Members, order.
There's no such thing as expropriation without compensation, because what the government expropriates without compensation will be paid for by the negative effects on the economy. And if you want to see the end road of what you want to do here today, have a look at Venezuela, biggest human displacement in human history, biggest displacement in human history. Go and have a look. Go and have a look at what happened in Zimbabwe when your beloved Robert Mugabe went down the same road, ended up with they're actually doing the opposite now in Zimbabwe because they realized the folly of their ways. But let's be serious. Let's get past this hoax, because now you're going to wait till March next year, which is the rising date of this committee reporting date, to actually grapple with this problem. This problem is far more urgent than that. And if this House and this government was really serious about land reform and land restitution, we would be sitting here over the recess period processing the expropriation bill. No special majority required, no amendment to the Constitution. We could do it in 3 months here in Parliament. If this government was serious about restitution and redistribution, we would speed up the hundreds of thousands of land claims that remain unprocessed in South Africa. We could do that easily. This government could spend the next 3 months doing a comprehensive land audit on well-placed state-owned land near urban centres where the real pressure for land and opportunity exists in South Africa. And this government would sit for the next 3 months, and this House would sit for the next 3 months, giving people title in tribal trust land so that they own the land that they live and work. That is what a serious party would do if it was cared about land reform and land restitution. This is a hoax, and the people of South Africa are going to see through it pretty soon.
The EFF. Order, honourable members.
Thank you very much, House Chair. One of the guiding lights of the EFF is Frantz Fanon, whose birthday it was on the 28th of this month. Once told us that each generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its mission, fulfill it, or betray it. Today, once more, Chairperson, we are called upon to forget our petty political differences and to forge a united front to fulfill not only this generation's mission, but mission of generations past and generations to come. The resolution of the land question in South Africa transcends this generation. It will come after us to prosper on our land. No one has been better placed as we are to, for once and all, change the constitutional superstructure of the country to reflect the pain from where we come from as black people, and the glory which awaits us if we are bold enough, brave enough, daring enough, and progressive enough. Section 25 of the Constitution, as currently stands, draws a moral equivalence between the rights of the dispossessed and the rights of the dispossessor. It makes the settler equal to the dispossessed native. It brushes out the pain of dispossession. It requires the dispossessed to pay the dispossessor for the land that was acquired brutally. The Sixth Parliament has rare opportunity to redress all these past wrongs, to allow the natives who have lost so much to reclaim their dignity back by getting our land back. As we have led this process before, we will lead it again. The property clause must and will be amended, and the land will be expropriated without compensation for equal redistribution and use. No longer shall we have a tiny circle minority owning the bulk of land in South Africa. No longer shall we be treated as slaves in our own land. Never. The EFF will participate in the ad hoc committee to make sure that the ANC does not even introduce artificial amendments, because we are here to make sure that we get our land back to the rightful owners, which is the black people. Amandla.
The IFP.